Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Sailor Moon Super S, Omni's First Love. You know, it's weird. I've never heard of this until last night. In fact, last night was my first time watching it. And a lot of other people have never seen this either. See, apparently this is a anime short that revolves around Omni Sailor Mercury. And it takes place between season 3 and season 4. But it happens before that of season 4. Now, what's interesting about this is the reason why so many people like myself had never seen it is because it came out in a theatrical release when the movie came out. When they re-released like the DVDs and put them out on like theaters and stuff, this came out. And I have the DVD, but I haven't watched the DVD yet because I've seen the movie like years ago, but I just wanted the DVD or Blu-ray, whatever you want to call it. And so like I never knew this special feature was on the DVD until I was going to watch the DVD last night when I was uploading something, but time ran out and I'm like, okay, I need something shorter to watch instead of a full-length movie. And then I found this on the special features. I'm like, hey, what is this? And so I watched it and I'm just like, wow, I never knew this existed. And it's kind of cool because because like Sailor Mercury's always been one of my favorites. See, when Sailor Moon first started back in the anime back in the 90s, Sailor Moon was my favorite at that time because she was the first one to like appear. So naturally, she was my favorite. Then Mercury came second, and I gravitated towards Mercury. I still like Sailor Moon, but I gravitated towards Mercury more because Mercury was more mature, she was intelligent, and she had blue hair. I love blue hair. And so, but then, Mars and Jupiter came, and I just was never interested in them. And then Venus came, and I was really interested in her. And so, like, it was cool because, my second favorite had, at that time, had her own anime short. And so, what's interesting is that her personality is so different in this. When it comes to Ami or Amy, whichever one you prefer, one thing has always been consistent, whether it's the 90s anime, the manga, the crystal, or like movies, whatever. One thing's always been consistent is her personality. Her personality is very dull, very bland. Some consider her to be the most boring out of all the like guardians and stuff. She's constantly studying. She always has her nose in the book because she's very intelligent. She's shy, she's timid, she's soft-spoken, she's very polite, well-mannered, stuff like that. There's only been one time you ever see her kind of like freak out. And I forget why that is. Even when she's upset, she's still in a very calm manner. But in this thing, her personality is out there. She's actually acting more like Venus than anything else. Like she's very loud, very outspoken, has a lot of personality. And so when I was watching, I'm just like, who is this I'm watching? Because this is not Mercury. But it was interesting to see her act this way because for the first time she had like a real personality, but at that same time you don't want her to act like somebody else. That's the problem I had with Venus starting with season 2 because she started to act like that of Sailor Moon, and that kind of like really bugged me and stuff. But yeah, this was like a really nice, pleasant, quaint little like short. Now it's also based off of the manga. A few differences between both two, but not much. So this starts off with Luna narrating, which I didn't even know it was Luna narrating because Mercury and Luna's voice sounds so similar in this thing. Like that's one problem that's one problem with the Viz dub that I have. It's like you have a lot of characters who either look the same or sound the same. And that was never a problem with the 90s Deke version, because in the Deke version, everybody had a different voice. And it was very unique. But that's one problem I've been having a lot when it comes to the Vids dub. Now I love the actress who does Luna and everything, but she does sound at times like some of the other Sailor Guardians and stuff. And she never sounds like that motherly figure from, like, the 90s. But anyway, she's narrating. And so it starts off and it's just like, it's Omni. She's in the tub, she's taking a bath, she's talking about herself and her personality, her blood type. We find out some interesting things. Like, we already know she studies, but we find out her favorite food is sandwiches, and we find out why. She said it's because it allows her to eat and read at the same time. I'm pretty sure she can do that with, well, no, you can't really do that with other food, because sometimes, like, if you're eating soup or cereal, you have to, like, look down. But anything you can hold in your hand, you can eat and still read a book. So, yeah. Um, and then she talks about, like, how she always strives to be good in school and how she's really good at this and that. But there's one thing she's just not really all that great at: love. Now, here's one problem that I'm having with this that I'm a little confused by. Now, the title is Omni's First Love, but this takes place between season 3 and season 4. Now, we already know she had a crush love interest in the first season. That one doesn't make no sense. Because, when it comes to all the Sailor Guardians, all of them have had love interests, except for like 3 really. Well, 2 really, but 3. Pluto, Saturn, and then Mercury. Mercury only had one love interest one whole time in the entire series, which I always thought was kind of weird because, in other seasons, especially when they had to talk about like love and stuff, she never had like a love interest because she was always more focused on her studies. And so they completely forgot about that. That's why I always think these animated movies and shorts are just never connected to that of the anime. They're just their own standalone thing because the plots never make sense within the relation to that of the anime. But anyway, apparently she's never had like a love or a crush or anything in this thing. And also that didn't make sense because I remember in season 2, it looked like she was into that American like professor and stuff because they both love like the study and stuff like that. But anyway, so she gets a love letter in her locker and she's so distraught. She don't know what to do. So the other guardians are trying to like talk to her, cheer her up and all this other stuff. And she's like, no, I have no time and no interest for love. All I care about is studying, and that's what I will devote my life to. And she says it with a loud personality. This is what's so different about her. What's also so different, what makes her interesting, is that her sunglasses. Yes, now we've seen her wear goggles before when she does her sailor stuff. Her little compact like laptop type thing. But she's wearing sunglasses in a cool kind of way. Like the way she poses with her sunglasses, the way she talks with her sunglasses. This is not Omni. She is a cool kid. She is that Minako Venus. And I'm just like, I'm digging it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the cool nerd type thing. And so, of course, it happens. She keeps talking about she's not interested in whoever this boy is and stuff. But then she starts to be. Why? Because she's doing her high school entrance exam. And so she isn't the one scoring number 1, which is shocking to her. She's actually now number 2. Somebody else is number 1 and beating the crap out of her. So on her little nickname that they put for the entrance exam, I think she put Mercury. He put something different that's like Latin or something that also stands for Mercury. So she's like on a mission to find out who this person is and stuff. But she's also going to study harder and be better than him, which she's not able to. And so, and eventually this causes her to develop feelings for him, even though she's never met him. She's intrigued at the fact that he is highly intelligent and stuff. So, at some point in time, when she's like asleep or whatever, and kind of like when she's coming home and kind of like upset and everything, there's this monster. Now, this monster is just some random monster. Nobody created it because the big bad guys of season 3 have been defeated. And the big bad guys of season 4 haven't even came in yet. So this is just some random monster that's been flying around the galaxy and decided to come on Earth, like the anime movies always do. I forget this monster's name only because I seen it just last night. But she has almost an appearance of both. At first I thought it was like Small Lady at first, turning into the Black Lady or whatever, because of her hair pattern and stuff, but it's not. She has a very striking pose to that of Sailor Moon and Chibi Moon and stuff. But apparently, I forget even what her power set is, but she latches on to people by jumping on top of their head and stuff. So anyway, when Omni's asleep or whatever, she starts her attack, and she throws like tons of love letters surrounding Omni in the bed. And so like it causes this like warp dimension, and so it's draining her energy and all this other stuff. And so at that point in time, Usagi, Chibiusa, and Mamoru, they're walking outside Omni's apartment, and they hear some strange stuff going on. So they go to investigate. And as soon as Sailor Moon opens like the door, because you know the regular apartment's the regular apartment, but as soon as they get in her room, it's the warp dimension, and she falls down into it. It's like empty space, so she's holding on to like the door archway and everything. So she's indisposed because of that, and for some reason Mamoru and Chibiusa do absolutely nothing. At some point in time, Omni is able to snap out of it, and she transforms. I was wondering if anybody was going to transform in this short. But when she transforms, it's interesting. It's different from that of the manga. And also what's interesting is that she's talking during her transformation. She's saying a lot in intelligent stuff. And this is the second time I've ever seen anybody talk during their transformation. The first time happened in the season 1 finale. And so her attack, I don't even recognize her attack, to be honest. I don't know if it's new for this animated short or what, but what I like is that she is able to defeat the villain. The villain is not much of a fight. You know how it is. They transform, they see something witty, and then they hit their attack. And so I like how she's able to defeat her own villain, which is very rare when it comes to Sailor Guardians, because Sailor Moon's always the one who defeats everybody at the end and everything. Like they'll hit somebody with their special attack, then Sailor Moon comes in to like save the day. This doesn't happen this time because Sailor Moon's too busy, or Usagi's too busy like falling in that little warp dimension holding on. So when the monster is defeated, the warp dimension disappears and Usagi hits like face first on like the floor. And so like what happens after that? See, before this, Usagi was investigating, trying to find out who this guy is that's beating Ami in like the test scores. And she talks to her 2 friends from the first season. Now I forget their Japanese names. Marvin is the English one from the 90s, and I forgot the other girl's name. Naru, I think that's her Japanese name. They appear, which is ironic because they disappeared many seasons ago. And once they became like a couple and stuff. And so he says he knows who this dude is because it's a friend of his and stuff. So Usagi and some of the others, they go to like see what this guy looks like. And when they see it, they're shocked. But we don't get to know what he looks like at first. So that's why they went to Omni's apartment to tell her, you know, what's up and everything. Now, once the monster was defeated, Omni assumed that the monster was the dude who was beating her in the score. But then when she takes her test again and sees she's beaten again, she knows that it's an actual real person. And so Usagi tells her who this dude is and what he looks like. He basically looks like Melvin, but with like blue hair. And talking about Omni will never be into him because he's such a nerd looking person and stuff. I gotta say, this was like a cool little thing. It was like a nice little short. I wish they would have done this more with all the Guardians and everything, especially in later seasons, because in later seasons, the Guardians they're there, but they don't do much of anything. And they barely fight and everything, which it was weird, because why would they do that after building them up so big in the first like season and stuff? But, you know, that was the 90s anime for you, so, you know. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.